What's up, everybody? This is Edward, back in the building. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Today is Wednesday, one day after the election, which was very interesting. I'm going to give my commentary on that later on, do some stuff on my own, and then do another hangout. But that's not what we're going to do. Today, what we're going to do is something that's been considered very popular. It's been getting a lot of shares, a lot of likes, and I greatly appreciate you all's feedback with this. Is this commentary, this play-by-play commentary. So I like how this is done because it's been working out great, and I've been getting a lot of good feedback from you all. So today, I've been hitting on sisters and they bullshit and Madame Noir, which is a part of the fake black media, mainly, and I've been giving giving it the business. This time, I'm gonna focus on the dude. This time, I'm gonna focus on Roland Martin. So, for those of y'all that don't know, Roland Martin has been on the Tom Joyner Warner show, as well as doing his own link, because people see him as a political guy. Even though, for the most part, he doesn't really know what the fuck he's talking about, for the most part. So, anybody know I'm not a fan of Roland Martin. But he wants to call out people like Tariq Nasheed and people like, others. Even he actually has the nerve to try to put Jason Whitlock and Tariq Nasheed in the same boat, which just shows you how clueless he is. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this video, and we are going to do play-by-play. This is going to be interesting.
Abrams is likely going to lose by around between 100 and 2. Right. Knowing full well he had no shot at winning. But in running for the U.S. Senate in 1968, he was able to see the landscape and saw that with a number of black votes, he could actually become the mayor of Atlanta. Election rolled around. He chose to run for the number 2 position. Yet when 72 rolled around, he said it's time to run for mayor. People said that he should have waited his turn, that he had a Jewish mayor, that he was a good guy. But Mayor Jackson said, no, now it's time for black folks to run. Tonight, Andrew Gillum lost.
What's very interesting about what he just said, that little history lesson is, even then, you're dealing with a man that had a certain strategy. Remember, he said 1968, so that's key, because that's when a lot of civil rights legislation was passed. That's when a lot of people thought we had made it. It was a different time. One thing that Jason Black said in his video that I'll put in the description, talking about the politics and stuff like that, and I'll add some good political commentary in there as far as links and stuff, is that Jason Black said that if you don't have an agenda, there's no point in running. He said part of the biggest reason why they were so very hostile in wanting to block our vote was because black people back then had an agenda. And the reality of the situation is black people don't have an agenda now, so although they do the same things, they don't do it to the same intensity that they used to, because we don't have an agenda. So anyway, like I was saying before, that was strategy. Now we don't have any strategy. And what you're going to do, what you're going to really hear, is you're going to hear Roland Martin really make the case for voting for no reason. One of the things that Tariq has always said, I will say this, Tariq Nasheed can be a lot more. Tariq Nasheed needs to do a video, like an hour-long video, really talk about his philosophy on voting, and then reference that every time, like make it a domain name and reference it every time he talks about this, so people can understand what he's saying, because I think he can be a lot more clear than what he is. Tariq Nasheed believes in voting locally. He does not believe in blind voting, because he knows if people are going to blindly vote, that's just going to empower the Democrats when the Democrats are gentrifying us, locking up black men. A lot of DAs either failing to convict black people that are being murdered by black people, or black people murders. That's regardless if they're a cop. Remember, Zimmerman wasn't a cop. So for those people that want to get on like the Blue Lives Matter under all circumstances, okay, let's take the police officers out of the equation. There's a lot of particularly white Hispanics as well as whites that are not cops, that are able to use stand your ground laws and things like that to kill black people. So this ain't even really about just the police. So I can take that off the table and these DAs are still failing to convict these people. So anyway, I just wanted to give my initial thoughts on that. This video, this link has 1,002 comments, which makes sense. So let's see. But you're going to have to understand, a lot of these people are not people that actually know what the hell they're talking about in the comment section. These are what I call your generalized, they look at the media, the mainstream media to tell them. I'm talking about black people. And the media is never going to tell you about vote for your own agenda. So anyway, let's go ahead.
But less than 100,000 votes in Florida. Stacey Abrams is likely going to lose by around between 100 and 200,000 votes in Georgia. Ben Jealous lost in the state of Maryland. Those were clearly high-profile losses. But Letitia James is the new Attorney General in New York. Kwame Raoul is a new Attorney General in the state of Illinois. You also have
a woman being Attorney General doesn't mean shit, because statistics have shown that although Republicans are still the worst, black women are having an alarming trend of really giving harsher penalties to black men. And the reality is Kamala Harris was the first African-American female Attorney General in California. That doesn't mean shit. This idea, like, honestly, when black women get elected, I don't really see a difference between that and a white man. I really don't. In fact, I almost see that as worse. I see that, like, when you see a white cop with a black cop partner, to where people actually have things to prove, you know, to the dominant society. So I'm not gonna say I'm alarmed, but I'm not well, they're black, so it must be fine. I'm not like that anymore. If sisters get elected, I'm kind of like, okay, it's almost a step below automatic person of interest, which for those of y'all don't know, I have person of interest, and then I have your straight up suspect, and then you need to be called out. So it's a step below that, automatically. Because for a black man, the status quo does the least for us, and the reality of the situation is these women are basically being voted in to perpetuate the status quo.
To have Keith Ellison, the Attorney General in the state of Minnesota. There are other races that we're looking at. You have black women.
Keith Ellison is cool.
Now the member of Congress from Massachusetts. You have, of course, Jahana Hayes, former Teacher of the Year, who's now the member of Congress from Connecticut. You have Colin Allred, now a member of Congress from Dallas.
Notice how you keep talking about black women.
You have Lauren Underwood, who is now a member of Congress from the state from Illinois. These are victories that took place tonight. But we also saw in this election, you saw those voices. You heard Cliff Albright. You heard Latasha Brown, the Black Votes Matter. You heard DeWanna Watson, of course, with
Oh my fucking God.
You heard the Color PAC, your Color Change PAC with Rashad Robinson and others. You heard Adrian Shropshire and L. Joy Williams and the Collective PAC with Stephanie Brown and James and Quentin James. You also had Black.
Dude, don't keep on rattling off names that you just researched before this shit happened to try to make yourself sound smart. Stop doing that. This is useless information. Yes, obviously, black people ran, some black people won. No fucking duh.
Corporate leaders who created their own political action committee. The brother who was the mayor of Birmingham created his own political action committee as well. What you have seen are African Americans in this election cycle make it perfectly clear that they're going to take their own destiny in their hands. They're not going to wait for the DNC, the DCCC, the DSCC, the Democratic Government Association, or any of these progressive or liberal groups. What they said is we're going to put the money in our community where we know it is best because we know how to reach our people.
That's not true, okay? Yes, are you seeing like some semblance of that? I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't even say we're at the level where we can even say that that's beginning to start. I don't even want to hear that shit. That's not true, okay? Yeah, you got a couple people here or there, but for what the black people have when it comes to money, to what's actually going on, no. So here's my barometer for that, so you all understand I'm being fair. Are black people actually submitting candidates for the Democratic Party to run against Democrats, not as Republicans, but to run in Democratic primaries, and therefore black people paying attention to primaries because black people actually have an agenda that's counter to what the mainstream Democrat agenda or Republican agenda is? That shit is not happening. So all this bullshit that he's saying is bullshit.
So what is next? This election is over. We'll wait to see.
We haven't even done the first thing yet. But see, I just want to call that out right there.
What happens in California? Democrats control the House. Republicans control the United States Senate. Democrats picked up more governor mansions than they started the night with. We also have those constitutional amendments. So we've been asking this. I always told you that the election is the end of one process and the beginning of another. And so it's 1 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time, which means it is officially November 7th, which means the election is over. Now what? What does it mean in Florida? That means there should be a strong initiative put in place to register those 1.4 million people who are formerly incarcerated who now have the right to vote. What that means is if you are...
Oh, so why haven't Democrats taken up the mantle of doing that? I tell you why. Because they're black men and they don't give a fuck. But Roland won't say that because Roland always wants to leave the door open to get a job, especially now when he knows he's statistically irrelevant on social media, where he doesn't know how to make an audience. He has to be provided an audience, and then okay, Roland Martin is a guy that has to be provided an audience to manage. That's how you got to look at it. You got to look at it like the difference between somebody that's an entrepreneur and somebody that knows how to kind of manage a restaurant and somebody that knows how to create a restaurant. And here's the thing, Roland Martin doesn't even know how to manage a restaurant, otherwise he still have a job. FYI.
Republican and running in Florida, or even you're a conservative Democrat, I dare you to run on a law and order platform and see how well that does in the next election. What it means is those people, that 1.4 million, could literally be the tipping point and flip Florida in the 2020 presidential election. But they have to be reached, they have to be registered, and then they have to vote. Same applies for Latinos. You can have great demographic numbers. You have huge numbers.
Okay, so again, you notice that Roland Martin can never just talk about black people. This shows you that he's still in that same programming. He's no different. Like, Latinos should be irrelevant, to be honest with you. Because Latinos, like this, the motherfucker was a white Hispanic that ran on the other election. Like, you say this like we have the same agenda.
In Texas, but it means nothing if you don't vote. Doesn't mean that you start to increase. The question is, are you going to have in 2020 2 million eligible for unregistered Latinos in the state of Texas? What does it mean for black people? What it means is, if you're black and you sat your ass at home, you're an absolute disgrace to the race.
Yes.
Yeah, I said it. Tariq Nasheed, you are a disgrace. Jason Whitlock, same for you. Two black men who actually publicly said they don't vote. Now, of course.
So here's what's funny about that. What's funny about that is these cowards, and everybody on this panel, I haven't seen this video, so I don't know who's on here. These cowards, they won't have the balls to actually give Tariq Nasheed a fucking platform to defend himself. You don't have the balls to go one-on-one with Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed has gone one-on-one with all these white folks. You know, the won more battles than he's lost. On HLN as well, where people have ganged up on him 4-1. This is the same coward. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of Umar, but Umar's out there, and you can't say he's not. Same coward that had black women defending their right to interracially date, when Umar was actually saying to the black man, I don't respect the black man. This with a black, this not with a black woman. And Roland was the one basically giving the counter argument and not for devil's advocate. Right? So this same coward, and he ganged up on Umar. He is a, look, I'm not trying to get loud and get obnoxious, but these are cowardly moves. Okay? I mean, at the end of the day, you can't tell me that that's not cowardly. So anyway, let's go.
We can fall for this nonsense about, well, you know, I don't agree with this person, that person, but you cannot tell me that if you are black and you are voting and there was nothing on the ballot you could have voted for. Not the person who's running for U.S. Senate or Congress or...
Well, Roland, why don't you give me some examples? And maybe you will. You basically gave all that, like, fucking information that anybody could have looked at the TV and gotten about what happened in that synopsis and pseudo analysts analytics. So why don't you give me 3 things that black people are voting for when they're voting?
governor or lieutenant governor or state rep or state senate or county government or DA or judge.
I did vote, by the way.
Or constitutional amendment or ballot initiative. There's something you could have voted.
Notice how the way he's framing that is not like from an agenda standpoint. It's from a person standpoint. Again, give me an example of all those categories, what black people could have been voting for, and give me an example of candidates that basically represented those arguments. We know black people don't submit any candidates to the party, whether Republican or Democrat. We're more in the Democratic Party, so let's talk about Democrat. You know, like for instance, let me give you some ideas so you all know I'm not just coming up. I'm not just being a contrarian. Gentrification rights and laws. That would have been a more local issue. Child support reform. Hell, national reform, like amendments that amend and make it so black people, the very black people he's talking about, can vote. Because as far as like what happened in Virginia, where I forget the former Virginia governor, Terry McAuliffe, you know, marijuana laws. That's marijuana laws. Prison reform. You know, because we got a lot of black political prisoners shouldn't be in jail, let alone they can't vote. Net neutrality. You know, we're not even going to talk about, I haven't even got started on black economics. Immigration, anti-immigration laws that affect black, like, well, these are examples. Only thing I hear from Democrats is gay rights. The same bullshit that, not saying nothing about black people other than I'm black and I got you. Gay rights, and then what the Republicans did. That's really it. Stopping the white threat, aka what are Republicans gonna do, and are they an alternative? That's it.
Before, but to sit at home and do nothing.
Now I voted,
sit at home,
by the way,
and whine and bitch about what is going on in this country, and when you actually have the power in your hand, as Maynard Jackson said, his grandfather taught him the 3 B's: the ballot, the book, and the buck. Those were the 3 B's that was put into his head. How is Atlanta the black mecca today? And it's because Maynard Jackson used the ballot to transform.
As LBGT as Atlanta is, you actually want to call that shit the black mecca. Atlanta has never been the black mecca. The black people have never controlled Atlanta economically. Whites still do. That's why Keisha Lance Bottoms could have wound up just like Stacey Abrams. Anyway.
Political office, which also caused him to drop economic development, which meant the buck. The reason Atlanta has the number of black millionaires it has today is because of electoral politics. When he was elected in 1973, black folks...
The same electoral politics that had... See, okay, I'm going to go with that 2 different ways, because what he said was bullshit. The same electoral politics that has Keisha Lance Bottoms giving Hispanics up and down construction contracts and labor contracts. Economics comes before politics. This is something that Roland doesn't understand. Politics does not come before economics. When we were in Jim Crow, we still had Black Wall Street. Now you can argue they used politics to deal with that, but that's because they had economics to deal with that too. Black people like Roland and others only want to talk about it from a political standpoint and never an economic standpoint. See, he's talking about the buck as a misnomer. But you know good and goddamn real Roland Martin never really talked about money like that. So anyway.
Got 0.0012% of all city contracts in Atlanta. You go there now, black folks built the skyline of Atlanta. When you go to Atlanta right now, they got the Olympics.
This shit ain't happening now,
folks. When you look at what is happening, what they're doing all across the busiest airport in the world, it is because of what black folks were able to contribute.
He's saying that as if black people can't participate in the economy except through the government. You saw how he said that, and I'm not saying black people shouldn't get city contracts. We damn sure should. But he's trying to narrow your viewpoint and be like the only way to prosperity is through voting.
You're in a country that's becoming more black and brown. What we cannot do is sit on our collective asses and do nothing and allow our power to go unused. So I don't care whether you're in North Carolina or South Carolina or Mississippi or Alabama. I don't care if you're in a state where everybody who's elected is Republican. You still have the right to stand up and use your power and not allow it to go unused and untapped.
I contribute to Race War as well as the Hidden Color series. Moving your money around and aggregating your money is not doing anything, dumbass. Just because you don't vote, I think about this shit not when the election cycle comes through. The election cycle, do you understand the fucking hours that Jason Black and Tariq Nasheed has put into this shit? And you want to amalgamate one fucking vote? And what he's really, you know what? All I need to know about Tariq Nasheed is the FBI has knocked on his fucking door more than fucking once. Okay? That's all I need to know. Same thing with Boyce Watkins. That's all I need to know. How many times the FBI knocked on your door, Roland? Fuck out of here.
Any of us could have said, well, we have no shot. But Maynard Jackson ran. Marion Barry ran in D.C. Coleman Young ran in Detroit. The Stokes ran in Cleveland. Hatcher ran in Gary, Indiana. Dinkins ran in New York. And so now we have a...
That's not the point. The point has nothing to do about no shot. The point about you're empowering a party that is not working for you. But you don't want to have that conversation. You talk about liberal groups as if it's a foregone conclusion that black people should support the Democratic Party. I've never heard Roland Martin talk about anything the semblance of a black agenda. He's always talking about a Democratic agenda. Because to him, that's who pays his bills. And that's why he's out in the cold right now. So you still got too many dumbasses that I actually think Roland Martin is credible. And that's the reason why anybody listens to him at all. But the reality is he would never, I'm not going to say would never say never, but I would be very surprised if he actually had a conversation with Tariq Nasheed. I don't think he has the balls to actually talk to, because he knows what questions will come up. And the fact he even mentions Tariq Nasheed is telling you they know who you are. They are strategically not talking about them. Jason Black has always said that. Tariq has said that. They are strategically. You should hear Tariq Nasheed's point of view should be just as important as Roland's point of view on the Tom Jordan Morning Show. These niggas know what the fuck they doing. So they could kiss my ass.
New generation of folks are running. We have folks who are also winning. They actually chose to get in the game by running and put themselves out there. They knew very well they could have lost, but the reality is they also could have.
Kamala Harris won. The fuck has she done for black people, particularly black men? I want to know. Because she's trying to run for president. I want to know what she's done. This chick want to talk about she's biracial. In California.
Won, but damn it, you can't win if you don't run. It also means you can't change nothing if you don't vote. You're concerned about criminal justice reform? Well, guess what? You can't serve on a jury unless you're registered. You can't say, I voted because Trayvon Martin can't. I voted because Aiyana Jones can't. I didn't vote. Rekia Boyd can't. Eric Garner can't. Michael Brown can't. Freddie Gray can't. And the list goes on and on and on. How dare you call yourself a conscious...
What are you voting for? Roland, the same Democrats. Trayvon Martin, that was a Democrat that failed to convict Zimmerman. And Zimmerman went on to do many crimes after that. They didn't put him on the Bill Cosby plan or the O.J. Simpson plan, where anything else you do, anything else. So don't tell me it's about state resources, all the money they spent to get Bill Cosby convicted, but Zimmerman's still out here free? Come on, man.
Person, and that you don't understand the history of black folks when it comes to the power of voting. You are a disgrace to the black folks.
This dude made, Tariq Nasheed made Hidden Colors, and we're going to Hidden Colors 5. What the, oh my God. Anyway.
Who gave their lives, literally had their churches bombed, houses destroyed, forced to move out of the South, giving up.
You see all this bull, oh my God. This is such bullshit, man.
hundreds of acres of land their families had because white folks ran them out because they had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to say that they wanted to register black folks to vote. We are living in a world where we're 25 years away from America being a nation that's majority people of color. That means by 2043, 53% of America will be black or brown. That's right, 47% will be white. And I'm telling you right now.
He says that as if that means anything for black people. He says that as if that makes it so black people will actually have a better life. You understand that a lot of these brown people think they're white. You understand that you got a lot of Africans that are siding with white people against us. Right? Anyway.
We're living in the age of white fear, where white voters are scared about what is happening. And so they're looking at the caravan and saying, oh my God, they're going to invade us. They're looking at black candidates saying, oh my God, they're taking over. Well, guess what? You damn right we expect to take over. And that's what you're supposed to do when you have the demographic numbers. But see, the takeover cannot happen if folks are there to sit at home. The takeover cannot happen if you say, oh, I'm so powerless, I can't affect change. When 19 black women run for judge in Harris County, that means change. When a young brother runs for prosecutor in St. Louis.
Not for black men, that don't mean shit. Tell me, ask Meek Mill how much change that did for his ass. What that shit did to him. If you don't get the fuck out of here, you know, that black dude that look goofy as hell, smiling with the white chicks and all that, the white chick that killed the white police officer, the police chief is black. The police chief is black. The dude that got killed, Stephen Brown's goofy ass. Stephen Brown's goofy ass. They probably be one of these main ones, black splaining for these killers. But his ass got blown away in Sacramento. The mayor was black. The fuck are you talking about? And what the first thing they want to do? Calm down, everybody. Calm down.
Upsets Bob McCulloch in the primary. That's changed. When Kim Foxx runs in Chicago and wins, that's changed. When Aramis Ayala runs for state's attorney in Florida and wins.
So basically, he's saying it's changed just because there's a black face in office. That's what change for him is. So based on that notion, I could say Clarence Thomas has changed then. God damn it. That's change. Because clearly, the only prerequisite you have is that they're black. Oh, my bad. The problem with Clarence Thomas is he's a conservative. So they got to be black and a Democrat because they don't count if they're not. But you're actually for black people and not the black Democratic, not black, but the Democratic Party. Okay, go ahead.
That's changed. When Marilyn Mosby runs in Baltimore, that has changed. When black folks are running for DAs and judges.
Now it doesn't even matter if they win. It just matters if they run. As if that, you see the affirmational bullshit he's trying to sell? This is all he knows how to sell. And here's the thing. Roland knows the difference. You know, there's a reason why Jason Black every once in a while and Professor Black Truth will do videos on Roland. Because they want you to know now the election is his time. Now he's going to go between using talking points that he doesn't want to use now to attacking people. Go ahead.
And clerks and attorney general, that is change. It doesn't mean you're always going to win the presidency. It doesn't mean you're always going to win the governor. But what it means is that we got more folks in the game who now have the capacity, the ability to be able to create change. The election is over. November 7th is here. Now is the time to stay mobilized and stay organized, to demand power, to say to Congress, you're going to hire more black folks on staff. To say to Democrats, you're going to spend money while black folks.
Hiring black people on staff doesn't mean shit to the average African American. What the fuck are you talking about? See, that's that elitist boule bird bullshit.
Or to say you're going to use black consultants and black pollsters and use African Americans in those critical positions, because the days of smart ass white boys running everything in America.
Guess what? They don't do it because they don't want to. They're not interested in what black people want. They're interested in getting black people to vote. Roland, why would they use those people when they can just pull out Beyonce, Jay-Z? and pull out all of the celebrities. That's who they like. Cardi B is going to be the new one. Even though she probably hasn't voted a day in her life. Maybe she has, and maybe I'm wrong. I doubt it. I doubt Nicki Minaj has voted. But they'll probably pay them to actually say, go vote. So why do you need posters? The smart-ass white boys know enough to know that's what motivates black people. But I guess Roland didn't get that memo.
Over. The time for you to use your power is right now, which means that if you came out and voted, I expect you to be at city council meetings, at school board meetings, at county commissioner meetings, at the legislature, and in Congress. Even if your candidate did not win, you are still a constituent. So Ron DeSantis, he owes black people because he is going to be the governor.
All this bullshit is protesting. What black people need to do is black people need to get their money right so they can aggregate their money. That's what black people need to do. If you ain't got your money right, you ain't got time to do none of this other shit he's talking about. Yes, you should know what's going on in your area. I agree with that. But going out there protesting and showing your ass, which is really what he's implying, by the way, is not going to work. So, he's just being cute.
And you damn right we gonna hold him accountable. And you damn right Brian Kemp is gonna be held accountable.
Like we've held every other mayor or every other black person accountable. Hell, like we've ever held you accountable. Like we've ever held Don Lemon accountable. The press, the black press, the black media. What the fuck? Like, come on, man. All these times that black politicians have said for black people to calm down when there's a protest, and you sat there and said that's what they should. Anyway, let me let this finish. It's only a minute and a half.
And you damn right the Democrats who won in Maryland are going to be held accountable for funding our HBCUs. What I'm trying to let you know is, to all you folks who are Democrats and Republicans, the black folks who care, we are not going anywhere. We haven't gone anywhere at 399.
Because you only matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican, right?
Years. We haven't gone anywhere since we arrived here in August of 1619, and you can damn well bet we're going to be on the battlefield and we're going to fight. And as Burton Woodson Tandy said, my alpha brother, we will fight until hell freezes over, and then we will fight on the ice. All right, folks, one of our partners here, Trans Real Estate. If you're looking for a hot new investment opportunity, I have two things I want you to think about: legal marijuana and crowdfunding. Now, you just let that sink into your head for a second. Our friends at Transatlantic Real Estate have created a unique opportunity. .org. Now that.
Yeah, now he's hustling. Anyway, I wanted y'all to hear that garbage. I just want to hear that. So let me know what you think. Let me know what's up. I'm probably going to do a hangout, and this will be something that's in the mix. And anyway, make sure you like this, share this, subscribe. Definitely share this one, because this is trigger free, because most people don't like Roland Martin. Even the ones that do kind of got the hush mouth. So anyway, appreciate it. This is Edward signing off. Peace.